everyone. Welcome to Kryptonize, the show about altcoins and DeFi and whatever else we want to do on this show, really. Today we're going to talk about Pulsechain. Now, what is Pulsechain? I brought expert Barnaby Anderson in again to talk about it. This is Richard Hartz. If you don't know Richard Hartz, this is his new venture. This guy's somewhere in Europe. Nobody knows where he is. A lot of people thought he was a scammer, but so far, everything he's done, I think, has worked out for most people. Barnaby, you can correct me if I'm wrong. These things just seem too weird to me, which is why I bring you on to help me try to understand them better. You don't need any introduction, Barnaby, but maybe we could talk about what Pulsechain is and when it's coming out.
Well, people have been waiting for Pulsechain to come out for many months. So Richard Hart is the infamous, one of the most infamous people in all of crypto. He launched HEX.com 2.5 years ago. But before that, he was a Bitcoin maximalist. So this guy was actually big, growing his YouTube channel and 100,000 plus people, Twitter. He was one of the influencers, and he was all about Bitcoin. So that was huge for him for years. He was mining Bitcoin in 2010. I mean, the guy made a fortune. He was already a multi. He was even a millionaire before he started crypto. He was retired, got into crypto, became a gazillionaire. And then for some reason, he changed his tune. And he suddenly went from being a Bitcoin maxi to being a critic. And he launched, and so then he launched his own coin in direct competition, saying, actually, for the first time ever, saying that Bitcoin was trash. So he launched HEX, and he was all about Ethereum. He was like, hey, Ethereum's great. We launched HEX on Ethereum. We're in ERC20. And he did that for the first year. But then, basically, because of all the crazy gas fees, he turned against Ethereum. He was like, hey, Ethereum, it's still kind of good, but that ETH 2.0 is taking too long. And I think he eventually lost faith that his HEX community, where every single Uniswap, he was one of the first people there on Uniswap doing trades. And they went from charging, $1 per trade on every Ethereum swap on Uniswap to being $50 per trade. And when people were taking their HEX coin and staking it, which was the purpose, you'd stake it, lock it up, and earn a return, at the beginning costing $1, moving to $50 every time you did anything on the HEX platform. And I think that just pissed him off and the 300 or 400, 500,000 people of his hexagons. And they all got pissed off. And so he's like, well, what are we going to do? Let's make our own chain, our whole new, but kind of like Binance did. Binance did that. They launched Binance Smart Chain, where there's like 1/100th of a penny to do a transaction. And that's all they did. They just made they just copied Ethereum, did an Ethereum fork, and released it so that people could start making their own smart contracts on Binance Smart Chain using the same programming language, using Solidity, just like Ethereum. So a straight out copy, and now you could launch the same kind of deal, but for minimal transaction costs, like 1 cent, less than 1 cent. Okay, so Ethereum, $50 per transaction, Binance Smart Chain,
50. Yeah. 50. I get $200 transaction fees sometimes.
Well, sometimes it's 10. It's anywhere from $5 to $50 to 100. It's whatever it is. And Binance down to like less than 1 cent. I'm sure we're all happy with that. But so Richard Hart, so then why do we need another one? Because Richard Hart's coming out with Pulsechain. That's not just like another Binance. It's not just like, well, less than 1 cent per transaction. He's copying all of Ethereum and every single token. All of them are copied. Even Ethereum, even Tether, even USDC, even Pax Gold, you name it, every single token on the Ethereum ERC20 duplicated, and he set up these liquidity pools with this bridge network that you'll be able to pair Chainlink on Ethereum with Chainlink on Pulsechain. You'll be able to pair Ethereum on Ethereum with Ethereum on Pulsechain. You'll be able to pair HEX on Ethereum with HEX on Pulsechain. All of them. Tether with Tether.
So why should we care? Why should we care about that in particular?
Because he raised $2 billion in the last 12 months. No, sorry, 6 months.
But why do we care? Why do we care if it's paired from one blockchain to the next? What does that do for us?
First, here's the thing: he did do 2 ICOs. He didn't call them that. 2 token sales. He didn't call them that. He called them sacrifices on Pulsechain and PulseX. That is the Uniswap token. This is one reason we should care, because combined it was about almost $2 billion, something crazy. So he was already potentially a billionaire. Then he raises another couple of billion. That's a lot of money, which if you wanted to, and in certain tokens that he could then provide the liquidity himself. I'm not saying he's doing that. We don't even know. But if he was to use that, that would be a massive jumpstart to the whole network, like insane. Like that's like I mean, only EOS raised 4 billion. I think his network it must be close to number 2 or 3 in all of, and the crazy bit is you never hear anybody talk about it. If we go over to Coin Market Cap, which is where everybody likes to go have a look for where the tokens, so you can see here's the normal top 10, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Binance Smart Chain, Binance token, USDC. So these are the two biggest stable coins, Tether and USDC, then Solana, XRP, Terra Luna, Cardano. This is the top 10, Avalanche, then Dogecoin. You know, it looks pretty standard. Like, okay, that's the real top 10. Well, how come when we go and look at Coin Paprika, hang on, what's this number 6 token? Why is HEX number 6? And then if we go and have a look at another one called Nomics, but then why is HEX number 10? So hang on, how come HEX is nowhere on the front page, the first 100, 200 coins, and yet is in the top 10 to number 6 and number 10 on these other coin ranking platforms when they say, well, hang on, we're taking the on-chain data of HEX. Remember, it's on-chain. You can't, the funnest thing about crypto is it doesn't matter anybody's opinion. You can go and check it out yourself. You can see how much money, the value of it, what it's trading for, and you just times it by the number of tokens in circulation. So there's already 448,000 HEX wallets, and it's gone up by 9,481 times in 2 years. And currently, it's trading for, it's 14 cents. Now, look at this. At the moment, we're in a bear market. There's a sea of red for the last 30 days, the last 7 days. Hope you can see that. Look what's gone up 10%, which is the only token that's gone up 10% in the last week. HEX. So why is that happening? Well, because the hexagons, like there's 500,000 of them, and it is one of the most traded coins around. And it's under the radar because people they don't know how to go to coinpaprika.com or nomics.com, and they don't like it because it's basically political. But because the hexagons are getting excited about this launch of Pulsechain, then once Pulsechain comes out, this number 6 coin is about to have a whole new network on it, paired up with crazy amounts of liquidity. Is that going to drive the price down? Is it going to drive the price up? What is this event, this Pulsechain event that not apparently, Richard Hart has been tweeting on, he's got like a massive following on Twitter, that it's going to be ready in the mid-May. Well, mid-May is like 2 or 3 weeks away.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty close.
It's very close. So he's already claiming that. He said that everything has been built. The airdrop, so you're going to get, like, look at the first, the first 100 coins. What percentage of the first 100 coins are ERC20? I don't know the exact, but I reckon it's 80%. Maybe 70, 80% of all these coins in the top 100 are all ERC20 on Ethereum. Well, everybody who owns those is going to get an exact copy in their new Pulsechain wallet in MetaMask. You just go to MetaMask, you just type in the new network, and boom, you're going to get a copy. And he's even set up this thing that it's called freepulse.io. Somebody set it up. I don't know who. Freepulse.io. Well, once a day, you can go there and get one Pulsechain for free. One token. And
what's it called?
Freepulse.io.
Freepulse.io.
I just want to say why that's important is with one Pulsechain, just one, you'll be able to do apparently 100 or 1,000 transactions. And so what that will mean is because everybody's going to get one. See, when you get your duplicate airdrop of every ERC20 that you want to have in your Pulsechain, but you have no Pulsechain, that means that they'll be locked in there in your MetaMask wallet. You'll need one. So then you just go to that free Pulsechain, you get one, and now you can bridge and start trading Ethereum tokens against Pulsechain tokens.
Okay.
What's that going to do?
I love it.
What's that going to do?
I don't know. That's what you're here for, is to say, I mean, here's my opinion. With the exception of Binance Chain, I don't know of any other platform that's really successful. I mean, Tron to me, I don't know. But you've got EOS who tried and raised a ton of money and hasn't been able to even come close to Ethereum. You got Bitcoin that's not really a platform, although there's people trying to do side chains off of it. Ethereum's the only one that I see with, well, maybe Binance's chain is coming up, so they've been somewhat successful, but nobody else is being able to challenge Ethereum. So why will Richard Hart be able to do it? He's got a big following, no question about it. But what's the trust that people have with him?
Yeah, well, I mean, the other some in the top 20, you'll see that the other Ethereum competitors, like Avalanche is number 2, Terra Luna's in the top 10.
But do they have real DApps that are successful on top of those chains yet? Like
Solana.
which ones?
They have DApps, but they are minuscule compared. So like
That's my point.
so in the top 20, these other Ethereum competitors, all let's say there's 20 other competitors, they would be vying for about 10% of Ethereum's 90% market share. Ethereum's got 90% of the DeFi, and then these guys have got like sharing. You can look it up on DeFi Llama or DeFi Pulse. There's a couple of these other that they show you the stats. You can see actually literally, and Ethereum is always winning. Now, Richard Hart comes out and says that he's actually not trying to compete and take over Ethereum. I mean, obviously, I think he is kind of, but what he's claiming to do is he wants to take off network traffic off Ethereum so that Ethereum gas prices go down. Because he reckons if people start launching on the Pulse chain, there'll be less congestion over on Ethereum.
But Ethereum's going to say, we're going to launch our next version of Ethereum. I know they've been saying that for a long time. That'll solve all of these issues.
Even they
when?
all of them admit, everybody on the core Ethereum team, it's not going to change gas prices. Do you realize that? Isn't that crazy?
It's not going to change gas prices. Why are they doing it?
Exactly.
Is it going to be faster?
Exactly. Isn't that crazy? So here's the thing: like apparently this year, 2022, the next major component, which is going to be the flip over onto the ETH 2.0, if it comes out this year, as they've said they will, but they have also claimed it will not change gas prices. It's the sharding. It's the actual next final phase, which remember it's taken them years to get to this point, and they're claiming that this is like the main fork, the main shift, which doesn't change gas prices. But when the sharding happens, then apparently yes. But who knows when that part is coming out?
Why are DApps and people continuing to stay with Ethereum then? What's the point?
Well,
because they've got the volume.
Most people, man, you're deep in this space. You didn't know that.
But I want to hear your opinion. I have my opinion.
Well, the thing is, what I'm saying, you're deep in this, but you thought that the ETH2 coming out, the majority of it, hopefully this year, was going to change gas prices. So even that's shocking to you. I think that's shocking to most people. I think most people haven't just read those tweets from the core Ethereum developers and gone, hang on. Well, yeah, you're saying eventually, like, apparently right now coming out is like, let's call it the 70% version of ETH 2.0, but that 70% doesn't change gas prices. So what, it's the last 10% of it that comes out in 1, 2, 3 more years' time? Like, what's that going to do for the competitors? Avalanche, Cosmos, Binance Smart Chain, Pulse Chain.
They haven't done anything with it. They haven't taken. None of them have taken advantage of this
network
situation.
effects. That's how network effects work. Everybody.
Yes,
at the
that's
cost,
my
and
point.
that's why Pulse Chain could be a game changer, because he's taking a system state copy of all the tokens. So suddenly, if enough liquidity, and he raised $2 billion, so if enough liquidity goes into Pulse Chain, and now tell me, you can be straight about this. You yourself, are you like married to Ethereum? Are you just in love with Vitalik? Are you like in love with Ethereum? So like, or is it that you like the liquidity on Ethereum? And if you saw the same liquidity over on Pulse Chain with the exact same tokens, and somebody's willing to pay you in a token, and you go, well, could you maybe pay me on Pulse Chain, because I'm only going to be hit with less than 1 cent transaction fee, and there's the same liquidity on it, same tokens are on it. What are you going to do? Are you going to be wanting to be paid in Ethereum or over on Pulse Chain?
Well, here's the thing, and I've never met Richard Hart, and everything he said has come true. He just comes across as someone that you got to think twice about, and I'd love to have him on the show. He's very articulate and very obviously very smart. But I'd have some reservations because I don't know the man, and Vitalik's so geeky and nerdy, and his ethos and what he puts out there is one of love, peace, and happiness. Where Richard Hart's he's more hardcore. That doesn't make him a bad guy. So I'd have to see, what kind of a platform he's built. I know it's a fork of Ethereum, but is there anything he can do to it to
Yeah, there is.
manipulate it?
There
Yeah.
is. So we want to address this point before we wrap up. And this is why people are feeling a bit sketchy about Hex and even this, because in the issuance of the tokens, right, there's this OA wallet. That's this original wallet that holds close to 90% of all the tokens in Hex and in Pulsechain. And it's this original originating wallet address that Rich Hart has never claimed that he controls. He actively says that nobody knows who controls it. That's all that he says. He admits to being the developer. He admits to being the founder, but he makes no claim that the originating wallet is under his control. Now,
I mean, the guy is so clever. I mean, with his sacrifices.
exactly, all this stuff. So, but you tell me,
He just,
what would be better? Now, just think through the mathematics on this.
yeah.
So you go and so there's about 10% of the supply of the tokens in Pulsechain, the one that's about to come out next month, probably. That's what he says in May. 10% of them are owned by the community. So all those of us, and I better say I did invest. So I've invested in this one. So full disclosure. So 10% of us of the whole of the supply is being issued to the community. So we're going to get those tokens, not 90% of them. Those 90% remain in that originating wallet. Now, if that originating wallet wanted to sell off, oh my God, boy, would it crash. But Richard Hart has claimed, this is what he claims, that he was going to do all that he can to not only have Hex be the only one in the top 10, he wants all three tokens in the top 10. And how can he get into the top 10, which is only based on market cap? Market cap is a kind of a vanity number, and it comes about through when you times the total number of tokens in supply with the token price. That's it. Token price times total number of tokens. So then if you were clever enough to make 100 times more tokens in your back pocket, never to be released, that inflates your market cap by 100 times. So the plan
Until he releases it.
No, but if you just imagine that you go along with the idea that they're never going to be released, a bit like Satoshi's 1 million Bitcoin.
Then why have them at all?
That's what I'm trying to get through to you. That's what I'm trying to say. You keep them, you have them there on the network because it bumps you up into the top market cap. That's the only reason you make them. You make them so that your market supply can get you into the top 10. And why do you want to get into the top 10? Because it's a marketing exercise.
I call bullshit on all this. I agree with the marketing exercise. I see what he's doing there. You've made that clear. But what if something tragic happens to the guy? And of course, we're not wishing that on him. He's a very clever person in the space. But what if something happens to him and somebody else has got control out of this?
Right. So what you're saying is, what if some mafia boss gets a hold of Richard Hart, starts willing to take fingers off and say, dude, you're going to give us those, we don't want this to happen to anybody. But you're saying, what if somebody got a hold of those private keys?
Well, I mean, if he dies, somebody's going to have it, right?
Not necessarily. There are plenty of crypto gazillionaires who died, or not plenty, but some who died, and their wallets are all frozen.
Well, why were they frozen?
Because they never gave the private keys to anybody, and they just die. If you die with never giving your private keys, nobody can ever get those crypto.
Well, that's not. Eventually, whether it's us or the Chinese, are going to be able to crack these cryptocurrency
That's what you're
keys.
saying with quantum. There's no proof of that yet. Nobody's ever done that.
I understand. I'm just saying. I'd say never say never.
Well, if that happens,
but my biggest fear is
let's go on that. The concern around Bitcoin being cracked by some quantum computer, you should be much more concerned that at that moment they'll crack every single bank account at the same time as well. Bank accounts will be easier than Bitcoin.
Well, that's a good point. That's a fair point. So on that point, I want to wrap things up. I want to thank Barnaby for talking to us about Pulsechain. I want to extend an invitation to Richard Hart to come on this show. And both Barnaby and I will pepper him full of questions, of course, treat him nicely. And subscribe to this channel.
Well, I've got to say, I mean, like, I invested in HEX. I invested in Pulsechain. I invested in PulseX. Like, I know I was following when he was a Bitcoin maxi. I was a fan. I was like, but then I did lose some faith. I was like, well, hang on. He switched so hard. But I have been watching him in the knockouts that he's been winning. And I can see it's a very clever thing that he's built. And we're about to find out the truth of the matter. The market is going to reveal the truth, as it always does.
But he's only won so far. He hasn't lost.
Well, he's now got, he's had one token out. He's about to have two more. So there's going to be three. So he's got 1 out of 1. let's see if we can do 3 out of 3. It's there for the
All
taking.
right, that's a good challenge. All right, on that note, please subscribe. Please like, please share. Until next time. Thank you, Barnaby.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Mark.
I'm bringing you my latest recommendation, and that is Tetragard. Tetragard is a basket of tokens, like an ETF almost, that's got Bitcoin, Ethereum, PaxG, and a fee token called Quadrant. All wrapped up. You buy it in one spot using Ethereum. The link to buy is right here. And by holding this basket of tokens called Tetragard, you get paid rewards just to hold the top tokens in the world. You can't go wrong. You'd be crazy to buy these tokens separately and not get anything for them when you can just do it all at once in one spot and get paid rewards as long as you hold that basket of tokens. Again, Tetragard, you won't go wrong.